Abandoned house. Needs work. Yours for $1, the ad read. Dylan Parker was 27, broke, and tired of crashing on couches in a city that never stopped draining his wallet. He wasn't looking for a miracle, just a break. When he saw the listing, he laughed. But something in him whispered, check it out. The house was in a small half-forgotten town called Elmsbrook, population under 1,000, with more boarded windows than open ones. Dylan packed his few belongings, hopped in his rusted-out car, and drove 5 hours through twisting mountain roads until he reached it. There it stood. Peeling white paint, ivy crawling up one side like fingers. The porch sagged. The front door hung slightly ajar like it had been waiting. A man in a suit, oddly clean for such a quiet place, greeted him. Name's Keller. You here for the house? Dylan nodded. It's really just $1. Keller grinned, handing him a single silver key. It's all yours. Just don't go into the basement at night. Dylan blinked. Why? Keller didn't answer. He just walked off. And with that, Dylan Parker became the owner of a house for $1. But what he didn't know was, the house had never stopped screaming. Whispers in the walls. That night, Dylan slept on the dusty living room floor. No heat, no electricity, just silence and the occasional creak of old wood stretching after years of sleep. At 3:07 a.m., he remembered the time exactly, he woke up. Not to a sound. To the absence of one. The world had gone completely still. Not even the wind outside moved. And then, a low, humming whisper. Faint. Like someone chanting under their breath. Coming from the basement door. Dylan stared at it. The key was still in his pocket. But the door creaked open, on its own. He stood. Hello. The whispering stopped. He crept toward the stairs. The darkness below looked alive, thick like a pool of ink. But something flickered, a brief light from the bottom. Then, a voice, clear and cold. Don't come down here, until you remember what you did. Dylan gasped. He stepped back, slammed the basement door, and locked it. But the problem was, he had no idea what they were talking about. The forgotten room. The next morning, Dylan tried to convince himself it was a dream. He explored the house, hoping to distract himself. Most of it was what you'd expect. Cracked ceilings, empty rooms, broken tiles, old wallpaper that peeled like dried skin. But in one room, the master bedroom, he found a photo nailed to the wall. It showed a family. A man, a woman, and a boy. The boy looked familiar. Too familiar. That night, Dylan dreamt of the house again, but it was alive. The walls pulsed like lungs. Shadows danced in corners. He saw the boy again, hiding in a closet, whispering, I remember you. You left me here. Dylan woke up sweating. In the corner of the room was the photo. He was sure he'd left it nailed to the wall. And this time, someone had drawn red XS over the parents' faces. The screaming below. That night, it began. The screams. Not human. Not animal. Just wrong. They started at exactly 3:07 a.m. From the basement. Dylan covered his ears. The house shook. Pictures fell from walls. Light bulbs burst. Then silence. He couldn't take it anymore. He had to know what was below. He unlocked the door. A staircase led down, into a cold that didn't belong to this world. Every step echoed like a funeral bell. At the bottom, he found a concrete room. Chains. Scratch marks on the walls. And in the corner, a crib. Inside was a tape recorder. Dusty. Old. He pressed play. Day 14. The boy still won't stop screaming. We tried to contain it, but it's like the house is feeding off him. My wife, she's gone mad. We have to end this. Then silence. Then the last words. If anyone finds this, get out. You're not just in a haunted house. You're in a trap. It feeds on your past. Your guilt. It remembers you. Dylan dropped the recorder. A gust of wind, inside the room, slammed the door shut behind him. He wasn't alone. A small voice echoed in the dark. You left me here. You said you'd come back. Dylan turned. The boy from the photo stood there. But his eyes were black. His mouth hung open, endlessly screaming, a silent scream that filled the air. And then, Dylan remembered. The memory that broke the house. 20 years ago, Dylan had lived here. His family adopted a foster child, a troubled boy who claimed to see faces in the floor and talked to the shadows. One night, the house had caught fire. Everyone escaped, except the boy. The truth was, Dylan had locked the basement that night, thinking the boy was lying. He was tired of his stories. He thought he was just looking for attention. But he hadn't lied. The house had taken him. And now, the house wanted Dylan to pay. As the memory slammed into him, the boy's scream finally became audible. A roar of rage, grief, and betrayal. The walls cracked. Blood seeped from the ceiling. Dylan fell to his knees. "I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't mean." "Too late," the boy whispered. The house collapsed around him. And when rescuers came the next morning, they found the house untouched, except the basement door. It was open, and inside, a photo sat on the crib. A new one. It was Dylan, with red excess over his eyes. And from deep below, even though no one was there, the house still screamed.